Alright, ladies and gentlemen, DSP here back with my ongoing E3 coverage, and this video we're going to talk about the Square Enix press conference, which took place at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Monday, June 11th, 2018. And boy, let me tell you, I'm not going to spoil, because if you didn't see the conference, you have no idea why this was a shocking conference, but it was very shocking. By the end, everyone's jaws had hit the floor for all the wrong reasons, in my opinion. I don't want to spoil it, because we're going to talk about it, during this video, but definitely listen up, especially if you're interested in Square Enix stuff and you want to know how they did at this E3. You're about to find out, okay? By the way, shout out to Johnny Source Rex, who says, I'm looking good today. That's right. Thank you very much. All right, so, first of all, the Square Enix conference was not a conference. They didn't have a stage show. What it was a broadcast, much like how Nintendo does their Nintendo Direct. They did a digital broadcast, opening up with Mr. Matsuda, who I believe is the head of Square Enix, as a company, game developers. And he welcomes everyone. He says, thanks for being here. Good to see you. And hopefully, you enjoy our showcase of what's coming out in 2018 and beyond. Very basic, intro, but it's nice to see the guy come out and say something nice, a personal message. So they open up their show with Tomb Raider. All right. So I'm going to tell you pretty much everything they said in this trailer. First, they show Laura's in a plane, and her partner from the previous games behind her. The plane splits, and now they're separated, and you don't know what's going to happen in the rest of the game or whatever. Did he survive this? What's going to happen? They said that in this one, Laura's out to stop the Mayan apocalypse, and it shows some gameplay. All right, and during the gameplay, she's jumping from branch to branch in trees. She's using sniping tactics with her arrows. She hits one guy down on the ground with an arrow, and all of a sudden he immediately thinks that everyone around him who's in his squad is his enemy, and he starts shooting them, so then they all shoot him. And the first thing I'm thinking is, this looks exactly like Assassin's Creed. Like, this is Assassin's Creed to a T. You're jumping from high ledges, you're shooting down with hallucinogenic darts, right? And it's not something that's original at all. They literally lifted this from Assassin's Creed, like frame for frame, it looks like Assassin's Creed. So then she jumps down to the ground. She's sneaking behind two guys. One guy is standing next to the other. She shoots an arrow, distracts one guy, he walks away. Then she walks up, kills another guy, okay? The other guy starts walking back, so she runs away. And it's absolutely hilarious, because the guy looks at the dead body. Now, this is a guy who 2 seconds ago, the AI had spoken with this guy, who had had a conversation and everything. Then he got distracted, he walked away, he walks back, he goes, oh, a body here, it looks recent. You were just talking to that fucking guy, like, not even 20 seconds ago. Yeah, the body looks recent. It's your friend who you're just speaking with, you fucking idiot. And it's just hilarious, because this is supposed to be the game demo to show off the game and make you want to buy the game. And all this tells you is that the dialogue and the AI is terrible. That it's so dumb, it can't recognize this is someone I just talked to like 20 seconds ago. Oh, body here looks recent. Yeah, you just had a conversation. Like, you're not, no shock or anything. They couldn't even program that into the characters. Oh my god, it was just so hilarious, like so nonchalant. Pretty silly, pretty stupid, in my opinion. And if anything, that segment actually made the game look worse than better. Then it shows Laura again. She's not head first fighting these guys. She's using stealth, swinging from tree to tree. She throws a gas canister down in the middle of like 5 of them, blows it up, and they all burn alive. And I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, yes, the Tomb Raider games, the Tomb Raider reboot, has been a lot about Lara surviving. But in a lot of cases, it's been about her sneaking past guys or whatever. In this installment, at least from what they're showing from the gameplay at this press conference, it looks like it's more about violent killing. Like, she's like, how do I slaughter these guys in the most effective way? What? Like, that's originally not what the game was supposed to be about. In the original game, it was she's always outnumbered, right? And so you need to find a way around these guys. And yes, you'll fight some of them, but she's always got the odds against her. Now, all of a sudden, she's some kind of a mass-killing dynamo where she just finds ways to slaughter dozens of guys at a time. It's like, what the fuck happened with the tone of this game? It's completely changed from the original game in this Tomb Raider reboot, right? It was just bizarre, at least from what I'm seeing. Now, I could understand some people think that when the game is all based on stealth, sneak by everything, that it ends up being less fun. But at the same time, Lara Croft is supposed to be a Tomb Raider. She's not supposed to be a mass killer. This is not Splinter Cell where you're a trained assassin and you're going, this is not Assassin's Creed where you're a trained assassin and your job is to go from person to person and slaughter them all. She's just supposed to be fucking sneaking around. So just, again, the gameplay they showed of Tomb Raiders, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, in this press conference, I should say press conference, in this digital show, actually made me wonder what the fuck happened with the series. Like, as a trilogy of games, the Tomb Raider reboot has changed pace completely. It was supposed to be a game where, you know, it's Lara's origin. She's not an explorer. You know what I mean? She's not a fighter. She's there out there and inadvertently gets wrapped up in this whole plot line with the Mayan apocalypse and all these different cults and shit. And yes, you see some really gruesome stuff in the first game in this reboot trilogy, but, you know, essentially she's just trying to survive. Now all of a sudden she's a cold-blooded mass murderer who goes through slaughtering everyone. Like, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? I'm so confused, and honestly, I don't think this is good. Like, I mean, some people are gonna love it, of course, but for me, it's like, this just doesn't look right. The one thing, the game developer at the end of this trailer comes out and he said, oh, all these new things, and it's all the same. Like, literally nothing he mentions is new except 360-degree swimming. So when you're in the water, you can now spin in place and fucking swim in different directions. He's like, so now there'll be more exploration underwater. Okay, so that's really the only new thing. So essentially what they're telling you is, Tomb Raider is no longer about tomb raiding, and it's no longer about exploration and sneaking. It's now just a generic third-person assassination game which borrows mechanics from every other third-person game, like Assassin's Creed in particular. Kill as many as you want, doesn't matter. No remorse. And it really has been watered down and become the most generic thing possible. At least from what I saw from this presentation, that's the impression I got. And if anything, this actually made me like the game less. And, you know, the original Tomb Raider reboot I liked. The last one I thought was meh. It was kind of more of the same and kind of boring. This one, I mean, they actually turned me off. They actually turned me off with what I saw. Okay? Alright. So, up next, we have Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood Under the Moonlight. So for those who don't know, Final Fantasy XIV is the MMO. You know, they had Final Fantasy XI years ago in the early 2000s. That was their first attempt at an MMO. Then you had 12 and 13. That was single-player experiences again. And then 14. 14, from all intents, purposes, and reports, is a great game. It started out really bad when it was released originally, but, you know, Square Enix put a lot of time and effort to fix the game. And now the game is a very robust, you know, MMO with roughly, I guess it has between 1 to 2 million actual active subscribers and players, which is decent. And so they're announcing this new content, Under the Moonlight, supposed to be, I guess, a new expansion. I'll be honest, I've never played the game. It looks like the same as every MMO to me. Like, it doesn't look very impressive at all. But that's me. I'm sure there are people who play this game and actively want more content, so there you go. And then they announced a collaboration event this summer, Final Fantasy XIV crossing over with Monster Hunter World, okay? Where it shows, you know, one of the monsters from Monster Hunter World and some of the Monster Hunter World characters kind of in the game, and it's like a co-op hunt. It really isn't. It's going to be like a co-op boss fight, it looks like. But it's cool that they're doing crossovers with games and stuff, right? So that's interesting that they jumped franchises, right, in order to actually get Monster Hunter content into Final Fantasy XIV. It was kind of cool. All right. Continuing on, up next, they showed Captain Spirit, or the Adventures of Captain Spirit. This is what they showed off yesterday. All right, they already had revealed this yesterday at the Microsoft press conference, I believe. And so what this is, apparently, is a free digital game from the makers of Life is Strange in the same universe as Life is Strange. So Don't Nod Entertainment is the name of the company. And it's a game, it's coming out for free, completely for free, on June 26th. It looks pretty cool. It's basically a kid imagining, you know, and using his imagination to think of superhero scenarios and stuff. And so it looks like it could be pretty neat. And I just don't understand, like, are they trying to just do free promotion for their studio? Is this going to be the first episode is free, but then if you want the rest of the season, you have to buy it afterward? Or is this just a free one-off game? What is their game here? Because, you know, ultimately when you see stuff like this, what you have to realize, there's a game plan. You don't get something for nothing in this very cynical business world of gaming. You know what I mean? Like, if you get a free-to-play game, it's because you're going to nickel and dime you with microtransactions. So, what is their game releasing this on June 26th, and what is the free content is there more to it or whatever? I would be very shocked if this is a one episode, that's it, one and done, just a way to say thanks to the fans kind of a deal, because I could not realistically see them doing that. Where is the incentive for them to make money? And if there is none on Earth, that's like a first ever. Seriously. So, I mean, maybe it is, and it'll shock us all. But seriously, like, I'm wondering, what is this? And I'm intrigued. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. All right. Okay. I'm going to be checking it out when it comes out, and we'll see together, I guess. Okay. All right. Then they did Dragon Quest XI. Now, for those who aren't aware, Dragon Quest is one of the longest running JRPG series in history. Okay, Dragon Quest 1 was on the original Famicom NES. I've never played a Dragon Quest game for the internet. I have played Dragon Quest games in the past. In fact, I played all those classics that they ported to, I believe a couple of them were on the Game Boy Advance, and then later on, the DS had a few of them. I've played those. Like, I played those years ago, over a decade ago. And I love them. I love Dragon Quest games. So, I'm excited because I've never played a Dragon Quest game for the internet before. And I'm actually interested in seeing, what this new one is. So, it's Dragon Quest XI. They show off a lot of stuff. The graphics look good. It looks like that Toriyama-style graphics. The same graphics you've seen in games like Blue Dragon or any Dragon Ball game. It's the same kind of artistic style. And it looks cool because, for me, this is the first time that I'm getting to see those classic Dragon Quest enemies in modern graphics. So I'm actually getting to see, the Cyclops with the club, but in 3D. You know what I mean? Like, with actually rendered stuff instead of 2D sprites. So for me, maybe I'll be one of the few people who's going to be seeing this for the first time in a modernized game engine. But looks cool to me. And this comes out on September 4th. I'm very interested in playing it. I don't know how it's going to be received, all right, but I'm very interested in playing the game because it sounds great to me. Like I said, I love the series, so we'll see how that goes. And then they announced there will be a Final Fantasy Brave Exvius crossover collab. If you play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius on your phone, mobile game, there will be a Dragon Quest crossover event coming up to celebrate the release of Dragon Quest XI. I used to play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, but it's a money sink. The game itself is a money sink. Yes, you can earn in-game crystals to summon characters, but if you actually want the best characters, you have to dump a ton of money into the game to get them. And if you don't, you can't play most of the optional content of the game, because most of the optional content is incredibly difficult unless you have special characters to overcome it. So I stopped playing it. I played it for, I want to say I played it for a year. I think I did. I played it for roughly a year, and then I said that's enough because I couldn't, it was to the point where I knew I would have to spend money in order to actually do the fun events. I don't want to do that, so I stopped playing it. A lot of people say it's great. A lot of people are also addicted to it. It's one of the biggest grossing mobile games in Japan. So it is what it is, okay? Okay. So then, they showed off something, and no one knew what the hell it was. It was just showing, like, knights in armor, okay? And it showed, like, basically stills of combat going on with knights in armor. And it was showing different, like dates. It was like 5,000, 5,120, 5,800. So apparently it was like wars going on over hundreds of years, but it wasn't clear what this was. And at the end of it, it just says, Babylon's Fall, a new IP from Platinum Games coming to PS4 and Steam. And the first reaction I have is, it's cool, it's a new IP, but I'm actually shocked only PS4 and Steam. Why not Xbox, right? They don't directly call out that it's coming out for Xbox, and that kind of shocked me. Are they, like, avoiding Xbox for some reason? I don't know. But apparently there's a new IP, and I guess we'll have more information soon, but there was no release date or anything like that given. So we don't really know what's going on with this game. It would be nice. More than likely it'll be next year or the year after, being that it's a brand new IP, right? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it, we're halfway through the show. We're more than halfway through Square Enix's show. So what I'm going to do is switch over my template. Okay? And I'm going to do some shout-outs. Let's do some shout-outs. Okay? So scrolling all the way down here, Kate cheered. She said shout out to Johnny, Popsicolo, Emperor Swaggins, the real MVPs of the stream chat. Domispul, I cannot pronounce your name and I apologize, did a 110-bit cheer, and he did that cute Franker Z dog emote. Thank you very much, Domispul, for the cheer. Austin did a 100-bit cheer. He says just another Monday for the Merc, I guess. He was talking about Tomb Raider, how brutal it looks like it's going to be. Obi-Wan Kenobi cheered and said, without Tomb Raider, Uncharted would not be possible. That is true. A lot of the things that came out of Uncharted came out of the original Tomb Raider series, which is hilarious because now the modern Tomb Raider borrowed a lot of things from Uncharted. I got an anonymous dollar tip. So the way you're talking about this game makes it sound to me like you're just looking for things to complain about. You slaughtered people left and right in Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider. You did, but as I said, as the series progressed, originally it was supposed to be more about sneaking and you kill when you need to because you're underpowered. You can't fight these guys head up. In the last game, it was more of the same, but yes, there was a lot more combat. And this one is like, whatever. Laura's completely overpowered. She can fucking blow people up on a whim. You know, she's got hallucinogenic darts. She gives like a million tools to use. Just kill everyone, right? Just slaughter everyone. Why would sneak by a single person? Just fucking kill everyone. It's fine. Just like mass slaughter. And that's what I don't get. It's like they've lost the way of what they were trying to explain. In the first game, the reboot of Tomb Raider, they had feeling behind it. Because you were like, here's a girl, she got wrapped up into the situation she didn't plan on getting wrapped up in, and it's a horrendous situation, a cult is slaughtering people, fucking nasty shit happening around her, and she has to strive to survive. It was about women's empowerment and the perseverance of the spirit through a mind-numbingly crushing, gruesome situation, but it wasn't just about slaughter everything around you, it was find ways to survive. This game literally is, oh well, it's a video game, now kill everything. That's what I mean, like, you've lost touch with what the feeling of the original series was when they rebooted it several years ago. I'm just saying. Gibby Pat says, do you think Ubisoft will add a sequel to Rainbow Six Siege or add more DLC? I have no idea. I played Rainbow Six Siege at launch. It was terrible. I never went back to it. I don't know anything about how the game is now, so I have no idea. Emperor Swagons cheered. He said, during the downtime after this, you should check out the games Devolver announced. They only announced 2 games, I think. And I know about them and don't really want to talk about them right now. I got an anonymous dollar tip. He said, they pretty clearly explained that Captain Spirit is a prologue to Life is Strange Season 2. I don't know how you missed that. I don't know either because they didn't say that. And Ring Dude did a 200-bit cheer. Thank you, Ring Dude. Okay. So, let's continue on. Second half of the Square Enix press conference, okay? Nier Automata is getting released on Xbox on June 26th. This is a re-release of the game, which has never been on the Xbox before. It was only on PS4, and I believe it was on PC as well. I could be wrong there. And basically, what's going to happen with this game is it's going to have all the DLC that previously was released on the other formats. It will be in this version on the Xbox. And they're saying for Xbox One X, it'll be enhanced, graphically enhanced, so it'll look better. It's like the best version of the game ever. So there you go. If you didn't have a chance to play Nier Automata last year because you didn't own, PS4, now you'll have a chance to play it on your Xbox. June 26th. Octopath Traveler, the Switch exclusive JRPG, comes out July 13th. This trailer was like 15, 20 seconds long. And all it shows is that it's basically in the graphical style of old school JRPGs. It's pixel art. And it's hilarious because I'm like, it's cool you're getting an exclusive JRPG for the Switch, but did they really have to use pixel art because it was on the Switch? You know what I mean? Like, they couldn't have done more modernized art. And I understand maybe that was just the style they're going for. But everyone talks about how the Switch is underpowered. Isn't it hilarious that the one exclusive JRPG you're getting on the Switch is going to be pixel art? I don't know. I'm on the fence about checking it out. In early July, there's really nothing else going on. But at the same time, I really want to play Persona 5 and finish my Persona 5 playthrough this summer because I had to stop playing it last year. So if I'm rebooting Persona 5 and starting that up, there's no way I'm playing Octopath Traveler. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about playing this game. I guess we'll see what happens. Okay. Just Cause 4. Well, see, for some people, Just Cause 4 is very exciting. And people are like super pumped that there's another game in the series. For me, not so much. Reason being, years ago, I played Just Cause 2, and I actually enjoyed Just Cause 2. Was it repetitive? Sure, but it was also an older game, so I forgave it for being repetitive, okay? Then Just Cause 3 released, and it was the same fucking game. Like, no exaggeration, Just Cause 3 is the same as Just Cause 2. It really is the same game with minor tweaks and things here or there, but literally it's the same exact destruction, the same gunplay, the same parkour with the parachute. It's the same fucking game. And after playing it for like 2-3 hours, I was bored. Because I just played 2, now I play 3, it's the same game, I don't want to play this anymore, and I dropped it. I stopped playing it. And by the way, I'm not the only person. Like, a lot of my viewership said this game stinks, and a lot of people were very underwhelmed with Just Cause 3 and just didn't want to play it, okay? So now fast forward to modern day Just Cause 4, all right? So what's new in Just Cause 4? First of all, they're saying extreme weather conditions. There will be tornadoes, there will be sandstorms, there will be blizzards, there will be all these things you have to put up with weather conditions, which had never been a concern of Just Cause before. And, you'll have to deal with all those in the game. I say that's kind of interesting, but at the same time, if you live in the same country where there's a tornado, a sandstorm, and a blizzard going on at the same fucking time, you better call a goddamn priest, because that shit ain't natural. That's some weird shit. Like, why is there all those natural disaster conditions happening all at the same time in the same course of the same game? That's really fucking bizarre, okay? So, is it just that they put them in there and just to fuck with the game and have some kind of a weird, you know, game mechanic? Or maybe part of the plot of the game is someone found a way to fuck with weather? I guess that would make sense. If someone, the big terrorist who you're fighting in this game, found a way to control weather and create natural disasters, I guess that would make more sense, but they didn't say that at this press conference, all right? They also said there's new vehicles. They said the old vehicles that were previously in the game are revamped. There's a bunch of new vehicles like a bulldozer and stuff like that to knock shit down. And then I had to laugh at this next part. More than ever before, the enemies will pose a threat with new, smarter AI. And I'm like, dude, the enemies in Just Cause are literally infamous for being some of the worst in gaming. They're so dumb. Half the time, they'll run up with a bazooka, go to fire at you, and shoot at their own feet and kill them fucking selves. Like, I've seen this a million. Just Cause, remember, they run up into a tower, I'm going to kill you, and they blow themselves up, throw a grenade, and bounce off the wall in front of them, they kill themselves. This shit happens all the time in Just Cause. They claim now the AI is better. Do you really believe that? It's the 4th game. They couldn't get it right in the first 3. Do you really think on the 4th attempt they really did it right? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's always been kind of the hilarious, chaotic nature of Just Cause. You don't know what the fuck the enemies are going to do because they're all drunken, you know, they're high as hell or they're drunk as fuck and they're doing stupid shit. So I guess we'll see in Just Cause 4, you know, what's going to happen. So the game comes out December 4th. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm on the fence. I'm intrigued with the new things that they're saying they've added, the weather conditions and new vehicles and better AI. At the same time, I get the feeling it's going to be the same as Just Cause 3. If I get the game, I'm going to play it for like, say, 4 or 5 hours. You're going to have seen everything there is to offer in the game already and be bored to tears that the next 10 hours is just a repetitive grind of the same fucking shit over and over, which is exactly what every Just Cause game has ever been. Ooh, you're impressed for the first few hours and you get bored as hell when you realize the game is just wash, rinse, repeat the same content over and over, and it's not very fun. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should check this out in December or not, being that it is going to be a full-priced release. I'm on the fence. I'm sure many of you may be on the fence too, or maybe you're sold, or maybe you're not. But from what they showed at E3, it intrigued me, but I'm still very skeptical knowing what I know about the franchise in the past, okay? All right. So next, they showed something very bizarre. They show New York City, and they show a man walking through New York City. And at first, I swear it was real film, like a real person. It wasn't a game engine. And they show this guy walking into an alley. And in the alley, there's a gang. Oh, you took the wrong address, Holmes. What you doing here, Holmes, right? Very stereotypical. The guy has a paper bag in his hand. What the hell is that? We don't know. He puts the paper bag down, and then the gang attacks him, okay? And he goes, shh. And all of a sudden, all of the sounds are mute. So all the sounds of the city, you hear traffic, you hear, everything. Everything completely mute, silent. You're like, huh? What was that? So then they attack him, and he fucks them up. He's doing, crazy. It's almost like the Matrix. He's fucking them up with crazy attacks and everything. And then at the end, he puts the paper bag down on top of one of their bloodied heads and walks away. Now, at some point, it transitioned from real film to actual gameplay. It was an game engine. But I missed the transition. Like, I didn't even notice when that was. So I don't know if it was, like, amazingly great graphics and I was wrong and it wasn't actual, filming or not. But it kind of was interesting. The name of this new IP is The Quiet Man. And it says, no more info will be coming in August. And it specifically called out PlayStation and I believe PC. And again, didn't mention Xbox. So the two new IPs that they mentioned in their press conference, which were Babylon's Fall and The Quiet Man, apparently aren't coming to Xbox, or they just haven't made any deal with Microsoft yet, because they didn't say specifically that they were. It was really odd, okay? Alright, so Kingdom Hearts 3, you're thinking, this is the Square Enix press conference. We're going to get all our answers. Everything that we wanted to know about Kingdom Hearts. They played exactly the same trailer that they played during the Microsoft press conference yesterday. I think with one different spin, they actually showed Ratatouille. So for those who don't know, Ratatouille is a lesser-known Disney movie from the late 2000s where there's a rat that actually is a professional chef, okay? Actually, I take it back. It might not be the late 2000s. It might have been the early 2010s. I'm not sure. But basically, this rat is a professional chef, and there's a cook or a chef who's trying to learn how to cook, and the rat basically does the cooking for him, so it's kind of like a sham. It's a really interesting movie. It's funny, and it actually is one of kind of the sleeper hit Disney movies. So it's kind of interesting, and so he's in it. It's confirmed that he's like a summon in the game, which was kind of neat. But outside of that, it's the same trailer they showed yesterday. Nothing new. So it's kind of confusing. Like, what? There's like no new information at all. They show nothing at all in their own press conference about this game. And they say, okay, releasing January 29th. And then that's it. It just ends. I guess I should mention Keith David was the narrator for this press conference / digital event, whatever you want to call it. He was the one narrating between the games. But it just ends over. And I timed it. It was less than 30 minutes long. They actually went under the 30-minute mark with this press conference. So let's really talk. All right, what was in the conference? Tomb Raider, which we already knew about. Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood and a crossover between Monster Hunter. Captain Spirit, which we already knew about. Dragon Quest XI, which we already knew about. Babylon's Fall, a new IP, but they gave zero information about it whatsoever. Nier Automata, which we already knew about. Octopath Traveler, which we already knew about. Just Cause 4, which we already knew about. The Quiet Man, a new IP, which they didn't reveal any information about. And Kingdom Hearts 3, which we already knew about, and they revealed no information about. Now, do you see why at the beginning of this recap video I said it was shocking? When this show ended, people thought it was a joke. They're just like, huh? What did I just watch? And it's hilarious because we were actually watching this together. All my viewers and I were watching this together on stream. We were watching a hosted stream on Twitch TV. And Twitch goes back to their schedule by default, and it says, oh, the post show recap was scheduled for 11:30 a.m. The show ended at 10:28 a.m. So even the people, holding the streams thought this show was going to be at least an hour, if not 90 minutes. It ended less than a half an hour. And it's like, okay, I understand that, some of these guys at E3 have big stakes, right? Let's face it, Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, EA, they go in there, Bethesda, they go in there, this is their time to shine. These are giant game publishers, they have a million games to show off. And so, they need a long time to show them off, right? They have big stages and presentations, and they have fucking bands coming out and playing music. They got choreographed dances for their fucking dance games and shit. So they kind of go over the top, and every year we criticize them strongly. And we say, that they went overboard, or they didn't get it, they're not in touch with the modern gamer. Sometimes you say less is more, and I can agree there, less is more, but this digital event that Square Enix did was incredibly underwhelming. Like, there was no reason to watch it. Most of the information that was there was already, like, we already knew about Tomb Raider, we already knew about Captain Spirit from yesterday at Microsoft, we've already seen Dragon Quest, we've already seen Nier Automata from Microsoft, we already know about Octopath Traveler, we already know about Just Cause 4 from yesterday, we already know about Kingdom Hearts 3 from yesterday. So really, you didn't have to watch this at all. They could have released the 2 trailers for the new IPs, and that was it. They didn't need to even have a digital show or conference or whatever. And the fact that this was advertised like it was going to be on the same level as Ubisoft, EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, Sony. It even had the time allotted to go an hour or an hour and a half, and no one realized it was just going to be a digital fluff show, was shocking. And if anything, I think that was probably the most underwhelming press conference I've seen in years at E3. I mean, there's been press conferences that are bad. This press conference wasn't bad. This was just like, why does it exist? Why did I actually feel like our time was wasted. You could have just watched the individual trailers or watched the other conferences to find out most of the information about this one. And if that was the case, they shouldn't have had it. They should have just said, we don't have enough this year, So sorry, guys, maybe next year. You don't have to hold an event if there's no event to show. And I think one of the companies, sadly, that is infamous for doing this is Nintendo. They do their Nintendo Directs, and they really don't have anything to talk about. So you end up watching a half an hour show where a bunch of it is 15 minutes is fluff, and then they have like 2 actual announcements in the whole show, right? So maybe since Nintendo can do it, we can do it too. But I remember a few years ago, Square Enix had a full-fledged press conference at E3, and that one was pretty good. So now when you see what is it, how the mighty have fallen almost, right? The thing that's funny to me is like, they got rid of Hitman. And you guys remember, Hitman was one of their big IPs. And they decided that, first of all, the last Hitman game, they wanted to be episodic. That didn't work. It flopped on its head. And then the game didn't sell that well because it was episodic and people were confused about the game. So they dumped the game studio. And the game studio luckily got picked up by someone else, and now Hitman 2 is being made and is going to be released shortly. In fact, it's coming out this fall. But that was one of the big things that everyone lined up to see Square Enix, and now they don't have that anymore, right? They've lost that. Supposedly, Square Enix is working on an Avengers game. And the bottom line is, right now, Marvel movies are white hot, right? When you're just coming off Avengers Infinity War, that's what you would want to be taught. Even if they didn't have any gameplay, they could have taken a cue from Bethesda last night and just did a teaser and said, here it is coming. Nothing about that. And the two new IPs that they show, Babylon Fall and The Quiet Man, no explanation of what the fuck they are. So why did I watch this, right? And that's how everyone kind of felt. Everyone was like, why did I just waste my time watching this? This is actually disrespectful to us, acting like you're going to have a big event and then it's a non-event, right? And I have to kind of agree. I think this was a misstep for Square Enix. If you're not going to show anything new, just don't do an event. And so, if anything, it seems more of a waste of time to everyone than anything else. And I think a lot of people feel the same way as me. So, all right, a few final shout-outs here. Shout out to, let's see here. Oh, Eternal Napalm says they really screwed the Tomb Raider franchise after they made Rise of the Tomb Raider, which, by the way, was the last game in the series, a timed exclusive on the Xbox One. The first Tomb Raider reboot was great. The timed exclusivity turned me off from the series. Yeah, I feel that having Rise of the Tomb Raider be a timed exclusive on Xbox One, in particular, also when they released it, there were other big high-profile games going on, and so it was a very easy game to skip. A very easy game to say, fuck yeah, I'm just not going to play it. And then it took a whole year for the game to be released on other platforms outside the Xbox One, and by then no one cared about it anymore. So what did you expect was going to happen to your franchise, right? I agree. I think the momentum they had with the original Tomb Raider reboot was lost with that, and it was a really dumb move. Emperor Swaggin says, you can't tell me you're going to skip Tomb Raider and play Just Cause. We all know Tomb Raider will be better. I don't know that. I'm serious. I don't know that. Like, Rise of the Tomb Raider was a snore fest. I thought it was one of the most boring games I played of that year. There was nothing original whatsoever in the game. It was just the same exact fucking game from the first one, and I was just so disappointed. I was like, you can't just do the bare minimum anymore. We're now in a time, an era, where there's so much competition among games and game development studios, you can't do the bare minimum and expect to sell your game for full retail price anymore. I don't care if you got Lara Croft attached to it and the Tomb Raider mantle, which is, held in high regard. You've got to do something to wow me so that I feel that my $60 is warranted. And Rise of the Tomb Raider was the complete polar opposite. It seemed like it was not robust. They didn't do a lot of stuff in it. It was more of the same, kind of rehashed stuff, and almost like a filler game. It didn't even need to exist. So, I don't know, man. Aust Mink did a 100-bit cheer. He said they're making a Just Cause 2 movie with the director of Rampage and Jason Momoa. Well, I don't know how Rampage did. Some people were actually saying it's the best video game movie ever, which is hilarious, because has there ever been a good video game movie? No, so I don't know if that's high praise or if they're just saying it's just not bad. You know what I mean? I don't know how they're going to do. How are they going to do Just Cause 2? Did they do a Just Cause 1 movie? Did they? Was that one of the movies from that terrible director, Uwe Boll or whatever? I don't know. I certainly don't know how a Just Cause 2 movie would be received. It would have to be Michael Bay on speed. You know what I mean? Like, he's zip-lining around and just ridiculously unbelievable shit. He's attaching grenades. He jumps away with his parachute. Physics that make no fucking sense. Because that's what the game's all about. The game really physics don't make any sense. So, I don't know how that would translate into a movie. Melancholy Panda just cheered. He says, the summary is as long as the press conference. Why did they even bother with the show? Actually, right now, it's official. My summary show is longer than the press conference was. Because I elaborated with my opinions, and I'm doing shout-outs for people who are cheering, subbing, and tipping. Yeah, I don't know why they bothered with the show. I really don't. I don't know why they bothered with the show. I have no idea. It didn't seem like it was necessary. They could have very easily just said, watch the trailers you saw on other shows. And here's 2 new IPs and quick trailers. We have no information on them right now. The show really was a waste of everyone's time, in my opinion. And right now, I'm not even kidding you. Right now, everyone who's streaming is doing filler content because they didn't have anything planned for now. So they're just like flubbing it. They don't know what to do because they have so much extra time before the next press conference starts, which is Ubisoft. They don't even know what to do with the time. Hall & Oates tipped me $1. He says, mark your calendar on October 2nd. Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise is being released in the U.S. and the trailer looks very good. Book it. I'll have to look into that. Emperor Swaggins cheered. He says, but you played through the entire Rise of the Tomb Raider, but you dropped Just Cause 3. I remember you being bored in Tomb Raider, so how come you didn't just drop it? I don't remember. That was years ago. More than likely, there was probably nothing else going on at the time. If I remember, I did not play Rise of the Tomb Raider at release. I held off because I was playing other more popular games, and then there was just nothing going on in December, so I decided to play it because there was nothing else happening, and if I remember correctly, no one watched me play it. The streams were slow. The view, no one watched it on YouTube. People just didn't like the game. They said it was boring. I received an anonymous dollar tip. He said, again, I was fine with Square's Direct. I don't know. I guess I just don't set my expectations sky high. But my expectations sky high like everyone else, so I enjoyed it more. I mean, here's the thing. E3. When you think E3, you think this is the time to shine. If one time a year, a game development studio, a game publisher is going to put in all in, right? You put in all your chips. This is the time. The whole world is watching for 2 days. Everyone is on top of these press conferences and digital events, and everyone is watching. This now is the time to show off your stuff, and you put up a lackluster effort. It just like shows, that's what I mean. It shows like lack of effort, almost like they didn't try. They didn't care. They didn't try. For them, it was like, whatever, we'll just do whatever and fuck it, buy our games, And sadly, that's not what you can do at E3. At E3, you do have to put forward that effort because now is the time to push forward and say, here's all our cards on the table. Here's what we've got. We hope we can get your interest, whether it's short-term interest in games coming out in the next few months or it's long-term interest of new projects we're just starting up. You need to have something to get that interest, and I don't think that Square Enix really did that. I think that Square Enix instead just said, fuck it, throw a bunch of trailers together. Shout out to QPZMWN, who resubbed for the 5th month in a row. Thank you. To Prez Vegeta, who tipped me $10. It says, you are the best. Thank you very much, Prez Vegeta, for that tip. I appreciate it. And Lone Star. I don't know why I said it like that because of Spaceballs. Lone Star. 1496, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, Lone Star, for the sub. So, that's all I got. There's nothing else to talk about with Square Enix. By far, one of the most, if not the most underwhelming E3 event in the past like 5 years. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was so disappointing because people were expecting great new IPs. Give us more information about Kingdom Hearts. Give us this. And it was nothing. Literally nothing. You could have skipped the whole show. You missed nothing. And that's kind of disappointing. Better luck next year, I guess, right? That's it, guys, for my Square Enix recap reactions. Hope you guys liked it. And I hope you'll check out all my E3 coverage. Whether you watch it live on stream on Twitch or you're watching it on demand on my DSPGaming YouTube channel, thank you very much for your viewership, and I'll see you later.